as a kid, you learned that mistakes always draw criticism. You brought home that paper from school that had a low grade, and you heard that feedback. But then at the same time, you learned that, well, if I'm perfect, if I don't make mistakes, then they approve of me. Then I get a gold star. Then I get a check. And that felt so good that you thought, God, I just got to keep doing that. I just got to stop making mistakes. And then I'll feel loved. In childhood, these strategies actually really help us. They might even be necessary. But the problem is that because that mask worked, because it got us through, because it got us what we wanted, it's nearly impossible to take off as an adult. And so instead, we spend our adolescence and adulthoods making more complicated masks, trying on different things, adding pieces to the mask, never thinking what it would be like to take off the mask, because if I actually took off the mask, would anyone love me? It's way too vulnerable, way too risky. We can't take off the mask, so we double down on it. We make sure that it stays in place. You see, the mask, it requires constant maintenance, constant effort to keep all those holes patched. But as we do that, as we patch the mask, as we build it, we're shoving something else behind it. Something else that we don't want to deal with. And so instead of dealing with it, we put more pieces into our protective armor. Like the kid who grew up hearing that big kids don't cry and that stop being a wuss. And so he learned that actually being tough, not showing your emotions, that is the right way to succeed. And actually that served him pretty well. Like he got up in the company ladder after not that much time, and he's pretty successful at work. But at home, his relationships feel strained. His marriage is going through a rough patch. His kids are super distant. And he feels that, but that feels too vulnerable, too risky, too emotional. And so he doubles down at work at the one place he feels successful. He stays later. He works harder, hoping that if he gets that success, that maybe he'll feel better.